live.
All right. Sounds good.
Hey, man. I'm glad you came out. But
Thank you for inviting me, man.
I wanted to, you and I have talked to each other for about the last 5 years. The last time I saw you was in North Carolina.
Yeah.
And you and I quietly support each other through swiping up on our stories. It's like, damn, bro, you look sick, buff, new PR. But a lot of it also has been mental health matter. And I know as men, not that we're that old, but we suppressed our emotions pretty much. I know I do at least.
Yeah.
I do it in different methods. Because when people think suppression, they think they just like stuff it down and it doesn't come out. But by suppression, I mean, it's like we were talking about earlier, is you do a bunch of productive stuff, side quests, you just do anything to distract yourself from listening to your thoughts.
Right. Like earlier I said, it was like the workaholic's dilemma, because you're constantly trying to find something to fill that time so that you're not having to think or deal with, what you're going through and the challenges that you're facing in life. So you might fill that space and that time with things that necessarily challenge you and also validate you, because they're within your wheelhouse of things that you can do. But when you do them, you are suppressing and pushing down the things that you should be working on. Mm-hmm. I think a lot of men have this, we love trying to find coping mechanisms. And when we do, we kind of gravitate towards certain ones that validate things like our masculinity, like the gym, like finances, stuff like that. And those sometimes, they help, and they do help you get through the day to day and everything. But that's not how you fix emotional trauma, right? That's not how you fix insecurity. You fix that with introspection and with thinking deep about yourself, and putting yourself in situations that you would be uncomfortable in. I'm not uncomfortable in a gym, so going to the gym doesn't fix my insecurity, even though for that little bit that I get a pump, looking all good and swole and all that. But if I wanted to tackle my insecurity, I would need to look in the mirror at home at night when I'm feeling it and tell myself that I look good then, not in the gym when I know I look good.
Oh, yeah, I have the same thing. I'll go to the gym and I'll be like, I'm very insecure about my arms. Somebody a long time ago told me I had too big arms. Oh, I've been working on my arms for about 6 years after that. But there's definitely a lot of suppressing. I do a lot of it. Yeah. But I've learned that no matter how much I try to suppress it, it would never fix the thing that is really bothering me inside. You can fake it as long as you want, but eventually all those suppressed emotions are going to show up in the moments that you least wanted to. Yeah. And we do tend to lean to the things that validate our masculinity, like, oh, look at me, I'm so tough as a man. Exactly. Which a lot of those things have changed now. A lot of it, social media portrays it as like the gym bro arc. Yeah. It's like, you got your heart broken. Hey, man, just go to the gym, pump out some bench press, squat, deadlift, all this other stuff. And no matter how much you do of that, at the end of the day, if you don't look inward and deal with the emotion that's bothering you, you're just going to be going to the gym. Sure, you're doing a productive thing and you feel like you're like, look at me, I'm doing all this great stuff. But from there, when the bench press is not present, you're going to be sitting in that bed like, damn, I'm just here.
Yeah. And then we go into like overworking yourself, and then you're causing new problems and new stressors in your life. Cause now you're trying to fill that void even more, because the more you suppress it, the more that it'll come out, and the more that it comes out, the harder and stronger it'll come out. So then all of a sudden you're struggling mentally and emotionally more often. You're losing more sleep, and all that productivity that you think you're doing, you're not doing, because as well as I do, lifting the weight doesn't do as much as sleeping, as eating well, as, having a healthy lifestyle and stuff like that. So it doesn't really matter if you're doing something productive and then the rest of your life is also crumbling at the same time. Mm-hmm. So I think a lot of dudes then will go to the gym for 4 or 5 hours a day, or they'll completely overwork themselves. They'll pick up side work. They'll pick up side gigs to where they're only getting 3 or 4 hours of sleep a night. and you're not profiting off of that. Like, sure, your bank account might say something. Sure, your arms might say something, but your mental and your heart and your actual physical health is going to be completely messed up the more you overwork and strain yourself and stuff. And, you know, I'm guilty of it too, man. When I was in the Marine Corps, like, I was a workaholic. I was the first one to get there every day, last one to leave. I volunteered for every single field op, every course I could go to, all that stuff. And it was to fill that void because I felt empty, and being at work, you know, being an NCO, being a leader, that felt validating to me. And I was good at it, but it didn't fix anything. And, you know, it was a struggle. And I think a lot of people who are in leadership positions in the military specifically, but just in general, they struggle with that a lot because it is hard to disassociate your value from work a lot sometimes.
Yeah, it is. Especially when you spend countless hours at work, this is who your identity becomes. I often think to myself, which is why when you mentioned earlier you're doing a lot of side quests, is because I spend a lot of time at work. There's times where I leave at like 6 or 7, and when people ask me, it's like, oh, like, what do you do or who you are? And I'm just thinking to myself, like, well, what do I do for the most time? And my identity is just tied to my work. And then I'm like, oh, when I leave work, like completely, because we all leave the military, right? Like that's you and I, you left, I'm still in, but I only have 15 months left. And I think to myself, it's like, what's going to be my identity when I get out? Sure, I'm going to veteran and I'm going to go to school and I'm going to be a student, but what else is who I am, me? What are my interests? What are the things I do this is Chris. Yeah. And being a leader also, or being in leadership positions, not just the military, but I think about people who own companies. It's like, you cannot show vulnerability because people depend on you, right? In the military aspect of it is these people depend on me to be strong for them. So when things go down, I have to keep composure. Right. And in the business aspect of it, as a CEO, you are the person that makes the company run as far as bringing in cash flow and bringing in profits and revenue. Because at the end of the day, if you have employees, you're going to have to pay them. And they have families, they might have to feed, homes, mortgages, or rent to pay. Yep. And it's like, if they see that I'm a weak CEO or a weak leader, how are they going to depend on me when, you know, everything's crumbling and pay stubs aren't coming? Yeah. Right.
At the end of the day, like, the hardest challenge of being a leader is that stress management. It's stress management, man, because you're going through the exact same stressful situations as everyone else. We all got bills. We all got family. We all got relationships. Everybody's got that stuff. When you're in a position of leadership, you've also got other people to worry about. You've also got other responsibilities, whether, you know, you're running a company or you have a small business even, or side gig or anything like that, or even if you're in real estate, you know, just managing properties, and especially, you know, in the military as well. Your ability to maintain composure when there's so much stress going on takes a toll on people in leadership positions. It really does, because at the end of the day, like, that doesn't go away, right? That stress doesn't go away. You're thinking about it. Sure, you're thinking about it with a smile on. Sure, you're thinking about it with a projected voice in front of a conference or in front of a business meeting, a small gathering of your coworkers, but you're still feeling it. Yeah, and you're still thinking it. And a lot of us, guys specifically, we don't tell anybody about that. And it's like you said, you know, you have to appear strong. And when you're in a leadership position, you do have to appear strong. I'm not saying that, you know, strength is optional. You have to appear strong as a leader. But there is a time and a place where you can let yourself ease down. And I think a lot of guys, what we struggle with is finding that time and place, finding that third space.
Do you have one?
You know, you were talking about getting out of the military and trying to figure out who you are. Honestly, for me, getting out, I've been out about a year now. Getting out, it was very hard for me to find that third space. In the military, I didn't have time for it. because, you know, just the rigors of work. It was work all day, go gym, go sleep, go work all day the next day, right? Here I find myself with a lot more time. And so that third space and that escape for me is just being around other people. I try to surround myself with friends that have absolutely nothing to do with what I do, right? I have one of my best friends is me. Her name is Mia. She's a film producer here in Chicago. I have absolutely no idea about anything film related. I don't know what anyone in those credits does. Not a clue. But for whatever reason, like every time she has an event or a networking event or something like that, even though it's completely a field I'm not even interested in like going into or anything, I'll go there. I'll walk around. I'll ask questions. I'll have fun in those situations. I'll meet new people, and then I'll find their special interests, and then go out with them to their special interest. And, you know, just going in that for me, I guess like that bubble of like exploring different people and their interests and things like that. I know it's not like an orthodox, it's a very unorthodox like third space, but for me it works, you know, because I'm not an overly social person, but the ability to learn while I'm being social and introduce myself to new environments, that's pretty cool for me. And so what I've been doing is just putting myself in new situations. And that has been very fulfilling for me, especially because as just like my personality, I like helping people. So if I can find a way to help people, I help them out. And you'll be surprised how many rooms you can walk into where you have no idea what's going on and you can be of help to somebody. You know, like I have helped Mia put together action scenes because, you know, she had actors that have never held guns before.
Yeah, and you have.
And I've held guns before. And it's like, oh, yeah, this is how you hold it so you don't look bad on camera. You know, something simple like that.
Yeah.
But, you know, that's fulfilling. That's fulfilling for me.
Yeah, I have the same thing. I am a love for learning and talking to others. Although I am quite insecure about speaking, which is part of the reason why I started this too. But also there's a love to speak to others, which is so ironic because it's like I'm insecure to talk because of circumstances that happened to my life, where people, you know, made fun of me when I was learning, when I was young. I'm still that young kid in my mind, but yet I have all these experiences where I'm like, no, dude, you're no longer that kid. But that voice in my head is still there. So I'm like, well, how do I work on it? And I was like, well, you have a thing to love to learn and you love to travel because you speak to others and get new experiences and you learn about new cultures. Like one of the things in the military I love is that everybody's from a different walk of life. You learn about so many different things and you're like, wow, not my hometown is not the world.
Yeah.
And then I kept thinking to myself, it's like, what will be an escape for me? And I was like, well, if I talk to others and hear their story, I was like, I love to that stuff. This is not work. It's not I mean, it can be a side gig, a hobby, whatever. People have told me that I'm doing so much. And I'm like, it doesn't seem like that to me because I get lost in this. Yeah. I love it. It's my third space, right? There's work, there's the gym, there's all that. But then here it's like, oh, I love this. Yeah. And then I'm going to go and continue on the workflow of it, which is editing and thinking of stuff. And I'm not overwhelmed by it. Yeah. I mean, I do put some pressure on myself because I do want to release it and because I think some of this stuff can help people. Right. Another part you said is contribution, right? That's one of the things I did this is to contribute because in a world so connected by technology where I can text you in milliseconds and you can receive that message, we are so terrified to send that message to certain people. Yeah. And I'm like, what if I have this where people can come on and speak about how they handle that from day-to-day life? Because a lot of day-to-day life is now communication through phones and phone calls. One of the greatest things I heard was, as far as like communication and trying to talk to others was, don't text somebody when you can call them and don't call them when you can see them in person. But yet it is terrifying to do any of the other steps. And we always default back to, I'm going to text them. Yeah. So I love that you that's pretty cool.
Yeah. It's, man, communication. I had to learn how to communicate a lot better. I was definitely somebody who just didn't It was always like, text me. Don't call me. Don't ask me to hang out. If you want to hang out with me, you text me like 2 months ahead of time. You plan a day. You plan the whole day. I want to be home in bed by 10 p.m. and like, do not. Yeah. Like that was the kind of person I was. I was very reclusive like that. And, you know, I had to unlearn that. And honestly, getting out of the military helps with that, because the military just absolutely ruins your, like, at least my experience was that, like, it ruined my ability to be social, because I was just constantly, you know, getting bombarded with work emails, work texts, things like that. And, you know, the environment that you're in there, you're a Marine 24/7. You've always got something to do. Mm-hmm. There's always somebody who's messing up, or there's always something that has to get redone at work, or somebody has to go in on an off day, or somebody missed duty, or somebody did that, you know, and there's always something going on. So it made you kind of like afraid of your phone, for sure. Yeah. Especially like when I picked up Sergeant, it made me afraid of my phone. Like straight up. I was like, I don't want to look at this. I don't want to look at it. Like,
how many people did you have under you?
So it varied. Pretty much, it was about 6 to like 12 Marines, depending on what exactly the workflow was and what exactly my billet at the time was. But the main stressor that came from that was not just the people management. It was the how my unit was put together. And then my billets outside of just managing those Marines. It's one thing if you're just a squad leader, if you're just a platoon sergeant, or just a training NCO, and you've just got to deal with, you know, the requirements of those Marines or whatever, or the problems of those Marines. But I was the maintenance chief and the operations chief for the motor transportation section, on top of being the platoon sergeant for those 12 Marines. Yep. So then I was stretched very thin, because my day would start at 6, you know, filling out spreadsheets, doing all these things, making sure these guys get signed up for training, and then also managing, you know, maintenance on trucks and vehicles, coordinating with supply, coordinating with comm. Yeah. Oh man, you would not have liked me if we were in the same unit. me and my supply guys did not get along. We'll just say that.
Sad to hear. I get along with my motor transportation section.
They were in the business of, hey, if the part comes in at 16:29, you're gonna come pick it up at 16:29, and I was like, y'all could just hold on to it till 08 tomorrow morning. But that's a story for another time. But yeah, no, these guys, like, it was a lot. It was a lot to handle, and my phone was constantly blowing up, especially because of my unit at the time. I was with 10th Marines. We were such a high-paced unit. We were quick turnover. We deployed platoons. So we would have one platoon attached to an infantry battalion, and they would deploy this month, right? So we'd have to make sure all their gear was up and good to go. And then we'd have another platoon deploy the month after, have to make sure all their gear was good to go that they were going to take. Yeah. And then because all these platoons and every platoon was on a different rotation, they all had their own training requirements. So then they were also all going out to the field at different times. And when they were going out to the field, they were taking different equipment and different gear. And it was a lot to handle because I had no mentorship, no leadership to help me handle that. I had a boot lieutenant. Bless his heart. He was a great dude, amazing guy, very smart, very knowledgeable, and he did help a lot. But at the same time, this was his first unit. He didn't really know anything about motor T other than what they teach you at logistic officer school. And he he helped out as much as he could. And he was great on the computer and everything. But at the end of the day, he didn't know how to run that motor pool. That was on me. Yeah. You know? And
I mean, that's where that relationship becomes with officer and enlisted. Yeah. It's like advisor, the one that, presents.
Yeah, for sure. We had a great working relationship as well, but it was just, I was unprepared for that. I was a junior sergeant. It wasn't like I had been a sergeant for 5 years and I was ready to pick up staff. No, I had just got pinned on to sergeant. Yeah. Here's all these billets that are staff billets. Go do it. And, I was overwhelmed, and that burnt me out. That burnt me out real quick. I had aspirations of going to the drill field. I had aspirations of going on recruiting, doing an SDA, picking up staff, staying in the Marine Corps. And, I think it says a lot that I'm in better shape now, a year out of the military, than I was my last year in the Marine Corps. Mm-hmm. I think that in and of itself says a lot. The fact that I am more motivated to eat healthier, sleep better, and work out more consistently now than I did when I got paid to do it. when it was my whole life to do that.
Yeah.
When I was waking up at 5 a.m. to do that every day. Like I think about that a lot. Just how much being in a good mental space will actually help you. Because that job just took it all out of me. Yeah. Right at the end too. It was, I was lucky that I didn't sign a full length, 4-year reenlistment contract. I did a 2-year reenlistment at the end of my first enlistment, which I only did a year and 3 months of. So it was, I lucked out in that, I wasn't trapped in that bad mental headspace for a long time because I was gaining weight and I was neglecting myself and my finances and a lot of that stuff, especially towards the end of my career. And I was suffering in silence too, because I didn't have anybody above me that I could really, talk to about that. And I wasn't going to talk to my junior Marines about that. Yeah. It's a pride thing, right? I told myself I can't let them know how much in debt I am. I can't let them know that I'm not sleeping very well. I can't let them know that I'm eating like shit. Yeah. I have to show up at 5 a.m. every morning, put on my sergeant face and make them go run, I had to show up at work every day and make sure they shaved and they had their haircuts on Mondays, I couldn't connect with my coworkers that way and it felt very isolated.
Yeah. Burden of leadership. The first time I heard it was, I don't know if you ever read it, Neptune's Inferno. It's on the Commando's reading list. No. It's about...
I wasn't that good of a Marine.
It was about the Navy in Guadalcanal. And in one of the chapters, they talk about how when Navy ships go down, the captain dies with it because it's the burden of leadership. They have to go down with that ship, right? I've read it like 5 years ago, so I might be recalling it a little bit off, but for the most part, it's like the burden of leadership is you go down, right? When things go wrong, the people that get held accountable is the people above, not you and I. Repercussions might come, but they're not as probably as for them who have done it for multiple years. Because once you're up there, you've been in there for a long time, and consequences like that, that's your whole life, and it sucks, right? And that's the burden of leadership aspect.
Yeah, no, I think the first time, holding those billets, I was the most senior enlisted motor T guy. So I did sit in those like company and battalion meetings. Yeah. As the motor T rep. And because it was a newly formulated unit, like you can look up Fire Support Battery, 10th Marine Regiment. It's a whole Force Design 2030 experiment. I think they're their own battalion now. They were like a pseudo battalion when I was in, but I helped stand it up and establish it. But now it's its own thing, thankfully. But yeah, I remember I came off of leave, and this was right before I got out. This was about 4 months before I got out. I went on leave so that I could get like all my paperwork stuff figured out back here at home, get my license updated, all that kind of stuff, just so I like moved back and I wasn't in a rush when I did it then. Yeah. And when I came back, we were in the middle of a FASMO. Do you guys have FASMO in the reserves?
Oh, yes, 100%. Yeah, okay. I just dealt with one last
so we were in the middle of FASMO and I left someone in charge to like, hey, this is what we need to... This is our checklist for FASMO. This is what we need to have. This is what needs to get done and everything. I'm gone for 2 weeks. Just get it done, Came back. Not a single thing on that list was done. Nothing. Not a single thing. And I had a meeting the next day after I came back. And I had to present the lack of anything getting done the last 2 weeks.
Yep, your dues.
Yeah, so I got, and it was a new battalion commander. They had done the change of command ceremony while I was on leave. Yeah. So it was a new guy. I had no idea. This was his first meeting with Motor T. And I got called a liar. I got called a liar in front of all these first sergeants, staff, NCOs, gunnies, chief warrant officers. Yeah. He literally looked at me as I'm trying to like present like, hey, this is where we're at with this, this, that, and the other. He was like, are you blowing smoke up my ass? I think you're full of shit. And this is a lieutenant colonel. I'm the kind of person, if you blow smoke up my ass like that, I'm going to prove you wrong. Right. So I took that as a challenge. I went back to work, fixed the whole motor T section for FASMO within like a week or two. And then the FASMO came up and we got a 93%, which, you know what, if I, on 2 weeks of prep, I'll take it.
Yeah.
You know, we got a 93% on FASMO. And it was our unit's first FASMO ever because it was a new unit. So I talked to that battalion commander later, and he thanked me and congratulated me for it. And he apologized for how he talked to me. But, you know, the military specifically is the only work environment where that kind of language, like, is so commonplace that we don't really understand, like, we don't think about, like, the repercussions of talking to people like that. You know what I'm saying? Like, any other job where you can quit, you're out of there, right? Like, there's a very few amount of people who will sit in a job where that kind of beration from leadership happens, and where you don't get anything extra or special out of actually accomplishing those goals.
Yeah.
Right? There's no bonus. There's no promotion. There's no none of that. I didn't even get a NAM out of that.
Yeah.
So it's like, what was the point of that? The only reason I did it was to prove my own pride, I guess, right?
Yeah.
But, you know, that's something that, like, I think about a lot, just how that unit kind of hurt, you know, to be part of that, which sucked because I love the Marine Corps. Love it to death. But, you know.
Yeah, I always say it's the best decision I ever made that I didn't know it was the best decision I ever made.
It was the best, worst decision I ever made. Look, being in the military, you set your life up amazingly. You open the door to so many opportunities and everything. But when you're actually doing the thing and doing the stuff, wearing the uniform, is some of the hardest things you'll ever have to go through. And you're going to go through a lot of it by yourself because we haven't broken down those walls and those stigmas.
Yeah. I haven't had that experience as far as you. I've actually had relatively great leadership on my aspect. That's why I'm listening to this and I'm like, damn, man. You're not the first person that's told me. Oh, yeah. I've heard it a lot from, especially how I used to be before now, because now it seems like things are a little bit more easier going. Mental health is a big thing, but there's all those guys that are still from when that wasn't a big thing that still hold kind of that's not how it was done. Right. But, yeah, I didn't have that experience. So I'm sorry you had to go through that.
No, I don't feel bad about it because, you know, at the end of the day, it taught me a lot about leadership through example of what not to do. Right.
Yeah. There's a leadership toolbox.
Yeah. I mean, you know, one of the best things that they tell you, first thing, you know, when you're a little Lance Corporal trying to pick up Corporal, right? It's like, oh, just pick and choose the good aspects of every leader that you have and ignore the bad. So, like, that's exactly what I would do, right? The ones who would talk to me like a human being, treat me like a man, you know, whatever. Those were the ones that I emulated, or I tried to, you know. Obviously, when you're actually in that position, in that rank, you know, you have to talk and act and walk a certain way, right? You have to make sure you maintain your personality, but you also have to, you know, emulate the rank that you are.
Yeah.
But, you know, pick and choose your qualities that you try to find out of people. And I feel like a lot of people, they gravitate towards the aggressiveness, man. They gravitate towards the anger a lot.
Yeah.
When it comes to, like, their own leadership style, because they think that gets results, and it doesn't. It doesn't. I've gotten so much more results being a normal, nice guy to people than I have yelling and screaming at people.
I mean, it's like when you're a child and your parents physically discipline you, and after so long, you're just like, I already know you're just going to discipline me. Whereas when they started to go more as you get older, they talk to you, they sit you down and talk to you like a disappointed parent. Yeah. And the kids of the military probably, as a disappointed leader, you're probably like, damn, man, I really messed up. I probably shouldn't be doing that, or I should do better, or right. You start thinking about all because do you feel that weight so much differently when they just sit down and look at you and you're like, I know better.
I would when I was mentoring like Lance Corporals to be corporals, right? I used to, one of the things I used to tell them is that like a written counseling is one of the strongest tools in your toolbox. Because if you learn how to write and you can write cohesively, like write a narrative on a counseling, and you can give that to someone, and you can explain the ways that they, you know, broke a rule or whatever, or have failed to meet your expectation and everything.
Yeah.
And if you actually read that to them, or have them read it, if you know, some Marines are not that literate, but you know, if they can read, they can read it on their own. And then, you know, I've seen people actually get, you know, read that. You know, it's different when you like read where you failed at it, because you might not see that from your perspective all the time. You might not see how how you failing to meet a standard or something affected other people.
Yeah.
But when you actually write it out for somebody, I've seen Marines do 180s based off of a negative counseling.
Mm-hmm. Not only that, but it's a tool in there. It's you can always use it back as track record, but also it's like as a personal thing, you can go to that and be like, have I changed from this? Mm-hmm. Because here's what I wasn't doing, or here's what I was doing wrong. Am I doing better now? Yep. And you can, you know, you yourself can kind of tell from that. And then if someone above the person that gave it to you is still there, they can come up to you and be like, hey man, you're actually doing really good.
Yeah.
And then you're probably going to be like, oh, I should probably, one of the things is when you want to get something out of somebody, you give positive reinforcement to those positive things. Cause you're like, if you want more of that, you're going to make the person like feel good. It's like, you know, keep doing that, man, or gal, or, and that doesn't go with just the military, but people, right? Because for me, the most part that goes is I always goes like, this is my experience in the military, specifically the Marine Corps, but I always tie it back to how does it apply to day-to-day people? Because there's only very so few of us that are, one, eligible to join, and two, willing to join. And then 3 to make it through.
Yeah, make it and actually go through and it just weeds out people. It's just a downward.
It's just the percentage just gets smaller and smaller, and then you go up to the ranks, and then the ranks and the mountain just gets lonelier and lonelier and lonelier, and it just keeps weaving out the ones that are capable. So if you want something from somebody, you give positive reinforcement, and it's like, hey, keep doing that, or good job. And then if it keeps a big stream, you find ways to give, you know, positive reinforcement. And then eventually they're going to go be their own person.
Oh yeah, 100% positive reinforcement. And like, you're right. Like connecting things back to like outside of the military, you know, positive reinforcement doesn't exist that much in the civilian world.
No,
it doesn't. It doesn't.
Not even in relationships, I think.
No, not even in relationships, not friendships, any of that. And that's why we connected a lot, is because we constantly positively reinforce each other, even though we haven't seen each other in years. And we're constantly, you know, like, hey man, you're looking good. Hey, you're doing good. And all this other stuff. It costs nothing to give somebody a compliment. It costs nothing to just give them the 2 seconds to pay attention and see if they've done something worth congratulating. You know, hey, you went to the gym. You got a pump. You got a little stronger. Congrats, man. Good job. You know, oh, you got a new job. Congratulations. I'm happy for you. You know what I'm saying? Stuff like that. And it does wonders for people, man, because at the end of the day, what is social media, right? We can all say, oh yeah, I like using it to communicate with friends and family. I like using it to follow, you know, famous people, or follow content creators or influencers or this, that, and the other. Okay. But if you post on social media, what are you posting for?
Positive reinforcement.
Positive reinforcement. You're posting for validation.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, right? Like, okay, you might want to make money from it. Sure. You might want to, you know, build a community. That's part of it too. But at the end of the day, you want positive reinforcement for that. I post myself on social media. I don't care. I want positive reinforcement. Yeah. That's exactly why I do it.
Yeah. You know, it's funny. You get it from the people you least expect it to. Mm-hmm. A lot of the stuff I do, I get more feedback and compliments from people that I'd never expect. They just randomly swipe up or message me privately and be like, hey man, what you're doing is really cool. And I can't wait to see the rest. And I'm like, who are you?
I haven't seen you in years.
I haven't seen you in years. Like, it's been such a long time. But yeah, most of the time, positive reinforcement or good things come from people that you least expect it from.
Oh, 100%, man. Like I've gotten more positive reinforcement from passing acquaintances that I had years ago than I have had from people I've dated.
Wow.
Yeah. I mean, it's not necessarily like a fault of people I've dated, right? Because, you know, they reinforce you and they make you, you know, they make you feel comfortable in different ways. But, like, the little dopamine boost of like having somebody random notice that you're doing good.
Yeah.
I think it's a little bit different. It's one thing if my mom says I look good, right? Oh, yeah, thanks, Mom.
Thanks, Mom. I always look good to you.
Yeah. I looked good when I came out the womb to you. But it's another thing when some random person is just like, hey, man, you look big. You look strong. Yeah. You look good. You know? I like your hair. You know, something like that.
Yeah.
It just hits different. And if we all just did that a little bit more. And the crazy thing is the more that happens, the more you inspire people, man. The more you inspire people, the more you get people to chase what they want to chase and do what they want to do. And you know, I hear the same catchphrases all the time. You know, do whatever makes you happy, you know, follow your dreams, this, that, and the other. But there's no follow through from each other on that.
Yeah.
Like I can tell you to follow your dreams, but when you're following your dreams, why am I silent about it? You know? Why am I not saying, hey man, good job. I see you posted that first episode. Good job, man. I'm proud of you, you know? Yeah. At least liking the post, something like that, you know, following along, you telling somebody you're giving them that attention and that they should follow their dreams, giving that constant reinforcement.
Yeah. I think the part of following your dreams too is there's certain dreams, let's say, so when I first mentioned this to certain people, I realized who was going to support and who wasn't. When they were like, you're not going to make money and be famous out of this. And I was like, who said I wanted to make money and be famous out of this? Did I give you the whole story of why I'm doing it? Like I've said it in episodes. It's like, I'm doing this because it's kind of like a bit of a redemption arc to myself. And the other one is just, I love to talk to people and hear stories. I would have never known any of this stuff you told me. Cause you and I just like, we swipe up and it's like, hey man, you're looking big at the gym. Oh, new PR. Hell yeah. Blah, blah, blah. And then from there, it's just like, boom. Yeah. It's the typical male friendship right there. It's like, I don't know your birthday. I know my friends' birthdays because I have a good memory for certain stuff. But, you know, some of them, they went they went a full day without realizing it was my birthday. And I was like, well, we don't really do that, right? We don't celebrate.
I don't even like promote my birthday. I don't even say anything about it.
But, it's, you realize it weaves out when you're following your dreams, who's going to support and who wasn't. And it definitely feels a lot better to follow something that is hard and here's the part about following dreams is some dreams you don't know if they're going to happen or not.
No. Yeah.
Because in movies, like you watch the guy go for the job and they get the job and then they're just grandiose, whatever person.
Yeah.
But that's a movie. In real life, how long does that take? Right. It's, you know.
And there's so many factors that go into it too. Yep. You know, you could have every qualification for the dream job that you want. And that position just isn't there.
Yep. It's like, damn, this is hard. I don't know when I'm going to make my dream happen. But I just have to show up every day and think maybe tomorrow's the day it happens. Yeah. Maybe tomorrow is the clip is the one that goes viral, or the new investment I made is an investment at 10x and I make my first 100 grand, whatever. Right. Yeah. And you just don't know. Right. Yep. And being the only person clapping for yourself is hard. It's like, yes, be happy, do the things that make you happy, follow the dreams that you want. But at the end of the day, it's like, at the end, it gets heavy doing it by yourself. So when you get, you know, positive reinforcement from people, you're like, oh man, somebody's watching. I better go and keep going. Like, man, I don't know if tomorrow might be the day, but if I quit today, you know, I'm not going to know if tomorrow is the day.
Yeah.
And when it comes to your dream jobs, some of those jobs are like incredibly difficult. Like they always say is like, oh, you know, do what you love and the work is not going to be hard. And there's this quote from Tim Cook, the CEO of Apple, that it's, he basically was like, that's bullshit, right? He's like, I've never known to work harder. I'm paraphrasing it, but it's basically just like, I've never known to work harder than being the CEO of Apple, right?
Right.
And it's like, the work is work and it's hard, but it's like the tools are light, right? Like he loves it. So it's that where that comes in is like, do what you love and it won't feel like work, but it is work. Like I was telling my friend when I was doing my last episode, I was like, this is all work.
Yeah.
Me doing all this, me setting up, me recording, I spent hours. Not only that, but there's the just reading and writing for me. Now I love that stuff too, but at the end of the day, that's things I'm working on, right? It all just happens to complement each other, but it just still work. Yeah. And people are like, "You're so busy." I'm like, "Yeah." They're like, "But you don't have to do any of that stuff." I'm like, "That's where you're wrong." I'm like, "I love to do this stuff." One of the other things with my friend is like, don't dream your life, live your dreams. In my first episode, and I was like, I told my other friend, I was like, "Hey man, I no longer want to go to bed because I love so much of everything I'm working on that I don't want to sleep. But I also know that if I don't sleep and I don't sleep well, I'm not going to be able to perform all the stuff I love." So it all kind of just complements each other.
Yeah. Well, you know, especially when you're chasing dreams, if you're trying to make something happen for yourself, you know, there's always sacrifices involved. Sometimes it's a sacrifice. It's a good one. You're like you having to sacrifice a couple extra hours of work to get a couple extra hours of sleep. That's a great sacrifice. You know, at the end of the day, I mean, yeah, it might hurt a little bit. You're like, "Oh, but I want to finish editing today," or whatever, you know, but but then there's those harder sacrifices. And like we were saying earlier, like it gets lonely the more you chase a dream.
Yep.
It gets lonely. You're going to lose friends. You're going to, or not lose friends, but you might, but you know, you're going to realize who's actually riding with you and who actually wants you to succeed and who has that security about themselves to be able to see somebody succeed and not get jealous and not feel envious of you and everything like that. And like, dude, like I had to fight through that for sure. I got so envious and jealous of other people. Inside the military, outside the military, after I got out, everything, dude, because I would see other people like, "Oh, well, you're making 6+ figures a year. You got the nice car. You get to go do whatever you want. You're whoop-de-doo, you know?" But you got to fight that. You got to fight that because you how you manifest it being your turn is by supporting people when it's theirs.
Damn, that was good.
That was right off the dome too. Yeah.
Damn.
Somebody gonna put that on a tattoo.
Put it on a t-shirt.
Yeah, put it on a t-shirt.
Yeah. No, it's being envious gets difficult. And the other part, you mentioned the whole 6-figure thing and doing whatever you want. Yeah. It's one of my friend Jones is like, there's always layers to everything. So even if that's what they have, like you don't know the full story of it. Yeah. I posted one of my a post on one of my writing was and this is because I drive a Fiesta, which is funny. But I was like, the guy in the Fiesta wants a Ferrari. The guy that's on the bike wants the Fiesta. The guy that is walking wants the bike. But the guy in the wheelchair just wants some legs to walk. And it's like, you never know the layers of everything, right? Yeah.
There's this app. I forgot the name of it. There's this app where you get to write like anonymous posts and other people get to read anonymous posts. So it's not tied to you and their responses are tied to them. And I replied to this one anonymous post. It was a woman talking about weight loss or weight gain, actually talking about weight gain. And she was having a hard time comparing herself to her friends and then herself a couple years ago. And, you know, I replied and I was like, "Hey, comparison is the thief of joy." Yep. And, which is a very cheesy thing to say, I'll admit, but
nope, that was exactly what my post was about.
But like, comparison is the thief of joy. And it's okay to compare, but there needs to be some intention behind it.
What do you mean by that?
So if I compare myself to somebody who's better off financially than me, and I just feel envious and jealous, that's probably because I have no intention of making it to that point. If I'm chasing something that someone else has, then I don't feel jealous and envious of them. I feel inspired by them. I use the example of like bodybuilders, right? I want to be on a stage one day. I would love to compete. So when I look at bodybuilders on like Instagram or something, I look at them and I'm like, yo, what are they doing so that I can get there? I don't look at them with envy or jealousy, right? Sure, some of them are probably on steroids. Some of them probably have way more money and have the ability to, you know, be in these $500 a month gyms and all that other stuff that I can't do, right?
Yep. A cook, people,
personal chefs and nutritionists and this, that, and the other whole teams behind them. Yep. I don't think about that. I think about, man, that guy's putting in some work and he's at the point that I want to get to. So I want to get there. And that's a mindset. That's a mindset thing, And when I replied to this post, I was like, hey, you have to have some intention. So if you're feeling bad about your weight, I'm not saying you have to do work, but I'm saying that if you're going to compare yourself to other people, you need to open your mind up to what they're doing or what are the possibilities of what they're going through.
Yeah.
Right? Some of those people that are skinnier than you might be on medication that are making them skinnier.
Mm-hmm.
You don't know that. Some of those people that are skinnier than you might be spending hours in the gym to stay that skinny.
Mm-hmm.
You don't know that. The only thing that you can control is what you do. So while you can look at other people and compare yourself, if you want to be like that person, then you need to look at the things that you can control and work on them at the end of the day and have intention to reach that point. And she replied back to me and she was like, I really needed to hear this. She was blaming, aging on gaining weight. And I was like, yeah, I mean, that happens. Mm-hmm. But, we had a little bit of a back and forth and she said that she didn't think about weight loss like that. She didn't think about like the different possibilities that could be why other people are staying skinny and she's getting bigger. And so she was struggling with that, comparing herself too much, that she completely like neglected thinking about like, what can I do about this situation?
Yeah.
She trapped herself in her own depression.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like a lot of people suffer with that because you are victim to your circumstances without putting it in context of like, what can I do to get out of these circumstances? And what are the other circumstances that other people might be dealing with? What are the excuses that I'm making right now that are putting me in the position that I don't want to be in?
Mm-hmm.
So a big thing for me is just like, you have to have some sort of intention. You cannot just go around comparing yourself to people who are doing better than you in whatever aspect of life they're doing better than you at, if you don't have some sort of intention of making your life better. And it doesn't necessarily mean that you have to strive to be like somebody who makes more money than you, or strive to be like somebody who has a job that you want. But you do have to strive to feel comfortable where you're at and to feel some sort of positive stress to want to be better as a person, because that's where you start feeling better about yourself, is when you're working on yourself, when you're doing stuff that's productive and you're chasing a goal and you're chasing a dream. Mm-hmm. When you're just stagnant and constantly comparing yourself and there's no intention behind what you're doing on the day-to-day, that's when you get stuck in these loops of anxiety, these loops of depression, these loops of losing your self-worth, losing your purpose, things like that. And I just thought about that because, that's a very normal struggle for a lot of people. It's just weight gain, weight loss,
Yeah, self-image.
Self-image, big one for a lot of people, including me. I have self-image problems all the time.
Yeah, me too.
And it's like, but I can put in some level of work every day. Doesn't have to be the gym. Doesn't necessarily have to mean I eat the healthiest or the cleanest. Doesn't mean I have to sleep the full 8 hours.
Yeah.
But if I can do something, if I can just hit my protein goal, if I can just hit my carb goal, or if I could just eat under my calories, or if I can get a run in or hit my step count, then I've done something that validates how I'm feeling, or it validates the work that I'm putting in and fights against the way that I'm feeling.
Yeah.
Which is, at the end of the day, you can't bury yourself in coping mechanisms, but you can really use those to fight. You can use positive reinforcement, positive coping mechanisms to fight against those negative thoughts and those negative actions. And at the end of the day, you just have to open your mind up to understanding like, hey, I am alive for however many years I'm on this rock. I got to make the best of the time I got, one step at a time, small steps.
Yep. I mean, small wins lead to big victories.
Mm-hmm.
Right. It's and it feels hard to do that stuff and I'll go back to the social media, is because you open up any Instagram platform and you're just bombarded with the amount of, look at me doing this, look at me doing that. Oh my God, I can go down the rabbit hole of all the lookings at me. And then you compare yourself and you're like, damn, what did I do today? Look at this person, right? It's like me, I like to work out at night. My friend Jimmy likes to work out in the morning. And I'm like, man, dude, you are super disciplined to work out in the morning. But that's his thing, right? Mm-hmm. And mine is to go work out in the evening. And there's times where I work out with him and I feel really good when I start off my day working out. So I'm not a morning person. And I'm like, man, look at that small win. What other wins? Because to me, working up in the morning and working out early is a big win. Because
waking up is a small win. Getting to the gym is a small win.
But waking up and going to the gym early in the morning, it's a big win. And from there, like my day is it's set. Because I think to myself, I'm like, oh, I started out my day with energy, and then I'm like, oh, I have time in the evening to work on a little bit more other stuff. And then I can go to bed at like 9 and then do it again. But then I don't. I stay up working out way too much and other stuff. And then I go back to working out in the evening.
I'm lucky my gym closes at 8. So I have to work out either early in the morning or after work. So it's normally after work, which is terrible because, 6 p.m. rush.
Yeah, the
god awful.
The like 4 to 7 rush where people are getting off work.
Terrible.
But people from school, yeah.
But, I force myself to go. My best workouts are on weekends. I'll go in the middle of the day. I'll usually go at 10 a.m. or something.
Yeah, I'm the same way.
Yeah.
Yeah, they'll be 2-3 hours long, sauna included.
Oh, yeah. So I've got the super strong pre-workout that day, because I don't have to worry about going to sleep later.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I mean, I again, that was a big struggle for me getting out of the military. And I'm telling you this, man, when you get out,
yeah, I'm fucking terrified.
Yeah, it don't be terrified. It is a challenge, but go at it full speed, heads first. You're gonna realize a lot of things that you haven't realized about yourself yet, because the military they put a leash on you. You have to act a certain way, be a certain way, talk a certain way, look a certain way, yada yada yada. Right?
I wouldn't say just the leash, but there's a blanket of comfort.
Yeah,
because there is you don't have to really worry about much. Just show up, work out. Yeah,
and you always have a backup plan in the military, right? There's so many resources that you can't even get to naming them all.
Yep.
You can't even begin to, right? There's always some place you can go, someone you can talk to, some organization, somebody somewhere, some office, some dude in a corner in the back of the battalion that that has a brochure somewhere. There's always somebody that can help you out with whatever you're going through. All that is gone as soon as DD 214. A prior service recruiter is going to call you about a couple months after you get out. They're going to be like, hey, man, you still in shape? You didn't get any face tattoos, did you? All right. Well, we got a little bonus if you want it.
Get got.
A lot of guys do. I mean, a lot of guys that got out around the time that I got out, they're in the reserves now. Either active reserves or just normal reserves. I think a couple have gone back into active duty actually, or are trying to go back into active duty. Yeah. It's hard to leave, man. It's hard to leave, but at the same time, it's a welcome challenge. You just have to have that positive mental mindset of hey, this is gonna suck for a few months. But why am I leaving? I'm leaving because this took up X amount of time of my life, of my day. I wasn't getting compensated for the work that I needed to do. I was losing time with my family. I was, whatever reasons that you might have, and not just you specifically, but anybody watching or listening, whatever reasons you might have for leaving your job, your lifestyle, right? Your living situation. Yeah. Remember that when you go and take on the next challenge of life, because it's not going to be easy, right? You don't move out from your parents and that's easy. Right? Mm-hmm. You start realizing all this random stuff that you've never bought before, and you're like, whoa. You actually have to fill kitchen with utensils. There's different pots and pans. I didn't realize this. Different brands. Some of them suck. And yeah, and it's small things like that. And then there's bigger things like how do I navigate bills?
Yeah,
how do I get loans?
Me and my friend Jimmy were talking about how excited we get over non-stick pans because it's so easy to clean. I was like, dude, I bought a set of non-stick pans and they're fucking wonderful. I fucking love
We're getting old, man. We're getting old. I got one of those like hex pans, the Gordon Ramsay ones. Oh my god!
I thought about buying a pair of those.
Oh my! I bought one singular one, and I use it for everything. I abuse that thing. It's gonna wear out in a few months. Over here cracking eggs on it and for no reason. But yeah, no, I mean, like there's challenges like that you don't even think about, and then you're leaving an environment and that leash is off, that blanket is gone, and it's gonna be hard. It's gonna be hard, and it was hard for me, not for the things that I thought it was gonna be hard for. It wasn't hard. It wasn't that hard financially. It wasn't hard relationship wise. It wasn't hard physically moving back home to Chicago. Mm-hmm. But the hardest part for me was unlearning a lot of the negative behaviors that I learned in the military. Control issues. Mm-hmm. I tied my validation to power, right? Oh, I run a motor pool. I'm that guy, Mm-hmm. Sounds egotistical, right? I didn't even know that I was like that until I got out and people started asking me like, hey, what do you do? Hey, what did you do in the military? What was your previous job? What was this? What was that? It wasn't until I started talking to people who have no idea the things I went through and did that I realized like, whoa, I did something that not a lot of people do. Nobody really understands. And I don't know how to translate. Yeah. And it taught me a lot of things, good things, of course, but it taught me a lot of bad things, man. Normalized yelling. Screaming. That's not normal in the civilian world. Mm-hmm. You don't scream at people. That's not a thing. Yeah, you'll see HR pretty fast. Cussing, dude. Cussing is crazy. Like I had a terrible mouth. I've had to unlearn that as best I can. Sometimes it still gets me in trouble, but like there's a lot of things that you have to adjust to when you get out, and they're different for everyone. I have buddies who are have just transitioned. I have guys who transitioned 2-3 years ago, and they're all still struggling in some way or another, finding purpose, finding reason, finding task, trying to understand what they're going through. You don't need a goal when you get out. I think that's something that everybody tells everybody when they're getting out. Oh, you need a goal. You need to know where you're going in your life, this, that, and the other. No, you don't. You need to find yourself and then find your goal and your passion. If you have a goal before you get out, it's great. Chase it, But you're going to leave the military. You're going to leave wherever you're at in life, and you're going to realize, whoa, I have been chasing something as someone who I'm not. Mm-hmm.
And then possibly get somewhere where you didn't even meant to get. It's like, damn, a couple years later, you're like, I was chasing this thing that I thought would be the thing, and I'm just finding myself somewhere where I don't know who I am, and I didn't even meant to get here.
Yep, exactly that.
And now you have to walk back and try to do those things. Now you're a lot older. Sure, you have all these experience, but now you feel like you're behind. Mm-hmm. And then that was going to come to me. That was coming to like two questions I had. Is do you think men in their mid-20s are more lost than they admit?
Oh yeah. 100%. Well, I think, from a top-down perspective, if I'm looking at men in their 20s, we're stuck in a very weird spot in history.
Oh yeah, I know. I feel it.
We're stuck in a very weird part in history, right? Number one, geopolitics. I'm not going to get into all that, but like economy, all that stuff, for guys who just want to get a normal blue collar job, start their life, buy a home. It's harder than ever, right? Yep. For guys who are entrepreneurial and they want to, chase a certain dream or something like that, it's also, in some aspects, it's very hard. In some aspects, it's very easy. It's different for everybody. because, you know, there's tons of resources now that there weren't never, 20 years ago.
You don't need a lot of backing either.
No, you don't need a whole lot of money to start a lot of this stuff either. You know, like I remember when I first started trading, like I think I put like $20 into Robinhood.
Yeah.
Flipped it, made my first grand, lost it. You know, and then you learn from your mistakes. But, you know, the main thing though that men in their 20s face is that some of us were still raised traditionally in terms of you need to be a provider, you need to be strong, you need to be a protector, you need to be the head of the household, you need to be all these other things.
Yeah.
And some of us were raised either societally or by family that you also need to be vulnerable. And
that's big now, huh?
Yeah. That you need to be vulnerable, that you need to talk to people, you need to express your feelings, you can't bottle stuff up. You know, it's okay to cry, things like that. And so a lot of men are struggling because kind of the Overton window on how society perceives men is also caught in the middle here. It's hard for guys to navigate this. They don't know if they're supposed to be more vulnerable or if they're supposed to still be strong and, you know, appear stoic.
Yeah.
Because, you know, relationship wise, there's a lot of women who are still confusing on that. There's families who have conflicting opinions on that. You know, you've got your parents telling you one thing, grandparents telling you another. You've got friends and family, you know, and all the societal pressures online, obviously, as well, too.
Yeah,
you know?
That's the big thing now is social media, man. It makes you feel like you're behind. It makes you feel like people are doing more and you're doing nothing. And it's all just in your face. It's like, it's just changing the way you're thinking. Because like you said earlier, you were like, oh, the way you were raised by family or society. What is society now? Society now is very much social media.
It's online.
It's all online and it's all appearances. I wrote one of my essays back in, I think it was like one of my first ones that I wrote on my Substack, just like a social media for like writers and stuff, is I called it the limitless frame. And it's because on the other side of that frame or that camera, you don't know the full story. You don't know it every time because guess what? You can edit, you can cut out content, you can redo the shot, you can rewrite it, you can do everything.
You can be a completely different person.
You're a completely different person because I can edit this to sound incredibly articulate and awesome and cut all the parts out of it. It just takes more work. However, now it loses authenticity. So when it comes to the part is, do I value sounding incredible and articulate and all this other stuff, or do I value authenticity?
Right.
Which one do I value? Maybe the middle is a good part.
You know, some of the awkward pauses you can cut out.
Pauses,
you know.
But after a while, you can just tell us like, that's a good awkward pause. And it's an authentic pause. I'm going to keep that.
Yeah.
But yeah, a lot of it is society and it is social media now. Yeah. And how old are you?
I'm 24.
You're 24? So we're the same age.
Yeah.
I feel incredibly like stuck. And I feel like there's so much pressure. And a lot of it, I just think to myself, is like, where is this pressure even coming from?
Yeah, it's coming from social media.
And I'm just like, what am I constantly like watching? And then
we live in the most comparative time to each other, man. Like the most comparative time, because you've got some dudes who are millionaires at our age. Like they've got Ferraris and Lambos and stuff. And you see that on social media. And then you've got people who've got master's degrees and PhDs at our age already. And you're like, yo, what? How, bro? I'm trying to figure out how to apply for FAFSA. Like whoa, slow down. And then, you know, you've got all types of stuff. And yeah, again, like you said, you don't know the full story at all.
No.
At all, dude. I have a friend who has 2 master's degrees. Same age as we have the same birthday.
Mm-hmm.
We are the exact same age. They have 2 master's degrees. But you know why they have 2 master's degrees? Because their parents paid for them. I had to go, you know, put on a uniform so I can go get my free college.
Yeah.
You know, that I can go ahead and compare myself to the achievement. Sure, they have 2 master's degrees. Oh, wow, I feel way behind, you know, but the circumstances are completely different. If I had the same, and that's not bashing them at all. They're not going to watch this, but you know, that's not bashing them at all for that. You know, you use the circumstances you got. If you got it, you use it, man.
Yeah.
I have no bad ill will, bad blood towards anybody who grew up, more privileged than I or anything like that. But
it makes for a hell of a story though when you come from nothing and you make yourself out of something.
Oh yeah.
It's like the hero in the stories that it's just some common. I'm going back to medieval here. It's some common dude becomes a hero, slays
the peasant becomes a knight.
Yeah, slays a dragon, and now you're this grand. It makes for, and people fall in love with stories.
Yeah, people fall in love with stories like that. And you know what's the terrible thing about social media?
What?
So many people lie about that story. There are so many people who are like, oh yeah, I came from rags to riches. I grew up in the worst neighborhood possible, and then 5 years later comes out, no, they grew up in Naperville, like. White picket fence. Both parents love each other. Not divorced yet.
It's like the guy from 8 Mile. It's like, this guy's a gangster. His name will never say it.
Yeah, exactly that. Yeah, it's exactly that. And social media makes it so terrible, man. It makes it so terrible. And I've had to unlearn this so much, man. Like, it's to the point now wherever I see somebody who, like, if I'm in a bad mood and I'm scrolling social media, which is never a good idea, I have to remind myself, like, out loud, physically remind myself, like, hey, some of these guys are on steroids. Some of these guys are lying straight through their teeth. Mm-hmm. They're using AI to clean up the acne on their face. Nobody has skin that clear, right? Like I'm telling myself these things, right? Mm-hmm. And is it true? Who knows? I don't know. But I have to tell myself these things sometimes so that I don't get in my head about them.
Yeah.
And, just to go back to your question, right? Like, men in our 20s, we are in the worst possible time to try to find ourselves. Guys in their 20s 20 years ago, go college, get a good job. That was the blueprint. We don't have one. We don't have a blueprint.
No,
college is blown up. College is blown up, right? There's dudes walking around with master's degrees collecting unemployment. Like, college is blown up completely. There is no blueprint. You can try so many different avenues and side hustles and gigs and all this other stuff. Like, I'm sure you've experienced losses, trading and stuff like that. I've experienced some losses.
Yeah, I've lost a couple $1,000s.
Exactly. So it's like,
I never thought I'd say that, but I've lost a couple $1,000s.
Everybody, it's nothing to be ashamed of, man. Like, starting out, I did too. I had to bounce back from $23,000 in credit card debt.
Well, it wasn't. It's not the fact that the money I lost, but the fact that I had that money. Because I come from a poor family. Mm-hmm. My parents worked all their life. They still work to this day.
Yeah.
And
mine too.
When I tell people are like, why are you so ambitious? Why are you so this? I'm like, it's because I experienced circumstances that made my life, or made me realize that life revolves on resources, right? Right now, economy, I remember when I can go to the gas station and get 4 bags of little chips.
Bro, don't get me started on the bag of chip inflation. There's more air than chips in every bag, and every bag is $1 more than it was.
Yeah, I remember that when I was like 12 years old, and a couple quarters would give me like an Arizona and like a couple of snacks. But now, if I go to the gas station, a bag of chips is like $4. That Arizona, I don't think they're not even 99 cents anymore. I think they're like $1, 19 or something. Mm-hmm. But right now I'm like, if the things that I value, which is family, I had to learn a little bit of. I've had a rocky relationship with my family here and there, specifically with my father. My mom, moms and sons is like, it's like daughters and dads and fathers, right? But he always made one thing clear, and that was the world revolves on money, man. And if you don't got it, you're not going anywhere. He's like, you're not going to buy homes, cars. You're not going to be able to put food on. The biggest thing is putting food on the table. Right. And I'm thinking to myself, it's like, if the things I value is now my family, my parents and siblings, is, do I want my parents to stop working? 100%. As a son, you always want that.
Specifically, you retire your parents. Yeah.
Specifically absolutely. Your mom. And then as Hispanics, like, and other, like, I guess, minority, I've realized that a lot of them are like that. I have African friends that, like, they want to retire parents. It's like part of their culture, right? You take care of your elders. Your elders are seen as, those you take care of, they took care of us when we were younger, so we take care of them in their old age, right? My mom has never wanted that, but I want it. She's my mother. She's done, and especially with how I grew up and the things she did for me, man, the first thing I want is to be able to be like, Mom, don't ever work a day in your life. You have worked so much. You've provided for me, and you've cried to people about me because of my character and asking them to be understanding of who I was as a kid. I was like, dude, take a trip to Thailand and sip on the beach or something. Yeah, please. And then it's now retire my family, but then is I eventually will have my own. And if I want to retire a boat or be able to be present for one and retire the other, I need resources.
Yeah.
So when people are like, why are you so ambitious? I'm like, because I have to be able to do these things. Mm-hmm. And that involves me working my ass off. Right. And then it doesn't help that it's now on social media. Yeah. And that young kid that is our age and it's like, look at me, I retired my parents of doing faceless content. And that's when people
I do AI generated Subway Surfer Reddit videos and I make $200,000 a month on TikTok. It's like
that's when I think people got the part where it's like, you doing this podcast is not going to make you famous or rich. And I was like, that's not what I'm looking for. I'm just looking to connect, to see what others are doing, and maybe not feel so alone on my journey of trying to achieve the things I did. Because in the long horizon, you're eventually going to make money. You're going to work. You're going to, especially if you invest and all that, your money's going to compound over time.
Annuities and 401ks. Diversify your portfolios. Have different retirement accounts.
But yeah, so men our age do have a lot of expectations. And I talk to a lot of guys that are my age, even older. They're just, some of them are like, dude, I don't know, man.
Time is flying.
I'm near 30. I'm over 30 and I don't even know what I'm doing. And I'm just like, fuck. What? You're like 10 years older than me. You're telling me it doesn't get better? So the only thing is, how do I make it better for me? Mm-hmm. Well, I can try connecting with others.
Yeah, for sure.
I can try to make it feel as real as possible for those that feel that way. Because if I feel it and I know others feel it within the normal circles I'm in or some of the people I acquaint with, let's just say there's not thousands of others that are feeling it too.
Oh, for sure.
Right. And earlier you were talking about the whole with bodybuilders and you're like, oh, they've done this a lot longer than me. One of the things when people try to emulate others who are on the higher peak of success or achieving goals is they try to emulate what they're doing up there. And what you should be emulating is where they started.
Yeah.
Because that's what got them there. Where they at the gym 6 hours a day eating eggs and egg whites in the morning. Like, right?
How many pounds of chicken?
Right? Whereas, because if you try what doing up there.
Yeah, for sure.
You don't have the resources for that. No. So that's where I think a lot of people try to.
They see the success. They see the person at the top of the pyramid and they don't know they don't see the guy who had to put every block to get up there. Mm-hmm. Right? You have to build that. And once you open your mind up to the fact that like, okay, this guy has achieved success in this field. I want to chase that success in that field. How do I do that? Oh, this is step 1. This is step 2. This is where I need to go. Once you start opening your mind up to that and you just like disassociate somebody from their success and more attach them to their process of getting to that success, you alleviate so much of that pressure on yourself at the same time. At least I feel that.
Yeah.
Because you're like, that's achievable. Mm-hmm. I could go to the gym 4 days a week like that guy did. Mm-hmm. I could do that. Oh, he went up to 5 days a week after a year. I could do that. I could change my program. I could add an extra 30 minutes of cardio. Yeah, I could do that. It becomes manageable.
Yeah, especially you build all those habits. It's like 4 days a week. What's an extra day? What's an extra 30 minutes of cardio?
And especially once you start liking it, the discipline starts building and everything like that. You start getting motivated. You see results. You're motivating yourself. If people are positively reinforcing you, that's pushing you along more.
Yep.
Yeah, you start feeling it. But you can't take somebody's success at face value. You have to look at where they got there and how they got there. Sometimes you just don't look. Sometimes you just have to use them as an inspiration and move on. Mm-hmm. You can't dwell on. Everybody has idols and people they want to chase and stuff like that, or heroes whatever, right? It might be somebody spiritually or intellectually that you want to chase, or somebody physically you want to chase, or something like that. But you know, we're all different. We all have different circumstances. You have to find your own path. You can use somebody as inspiration. You can try to follow their path as much as possible, and you can keep yourself humble by understanding that that person at some point had something different than you, and they also had to put in work to get to where they got. But you have to also, you know, carve your own way through it as well, and understand that like some of those challenges that you're going to face along this road are not going to be challenges that other people faced. Yep. It'll be your own challenges.
Especially because the time they came up is probably a different time than you came up.
Yeah.
It's like me, I'm really big into self-improvement, business, and investing and all that, right?
Right.
Before, you needed a certain amount of net worth or money to be able to invest. Not like you said earlier, $20 in Robinhood and boom, you own a stock.
Yeah. $20 on Robinhood, a 30-second TikTok. There you go. You did something.
Boom. Right. And, me and one of my friends were talking about how YouTube channels first were coming up in like 2010. How much has production from just a guy, just like in his kitchen or something, can now do with a couple of tools? Man, look at me. I have like a semi studio here.
Yeah, we got a studio going on. We got cameras, lights.
But a long time ago, you probably couldn't do that. You probably needed some film school. Somebody that knows a guy that knows how to work cameras and all this. Now I can YouTube my way through, which is what I've been doing.
Yeah, exactly.
But yeah, you have to mimic the rise, not where they're at. Mm-hmm. And it's so easy to get stuck on that. Well, this is what you're doing now. But yeah, man, they have the chef, they have the cameraman, the sponsorships, the money. One of the ones that like for bodybuilding is Ramon Dino.
Oh man, Ramon.
Dude, his story is crazy.
He's that man. I was so happy to see him win the Olympia this year. And I was.
Me too.
That dude. Yeah, he's inspirational for sure.
Yeah, and then I mean, Chris Bumstead retired, where he probably could have kept going, but
yeah,
he
wanted to be a dad, and I gotta respect that.
And that's awesome. I mean, all you can do is just be like, thanks for doing what you did for everybody that just looked up.
He revolutionized the sport.
Yep.
Like the classic physique division and the sport of bodybuilding has opened like our entire generation.
Yeah.
Damn near all of us are in one way or another into fitness.
Yep.
Which is crazy. We're the most fit generation ever.
Yeah, we are. And a lot of my friends, we're always like, we'll share each other. A lot of the ones is where he's like skinny bitch, and we'll be like, "Did you hit the gym today?" And then we'll send that.
Yeah. And then you see other dudes our age who are going into that realm and inspiring other people too. You got like Sam Sulik and other guys like that who are also just revolutionizing the sport too.
Yeah. So there's some positivity to social media because not you before didn't have that access, whereas now you do. I guess it's the users of it that make it, but for the most part, it is negative, but there is positive.
Yeah, for sure.
We covered some stuff about friends, but what do you think is the hardest thing to come up to friends and honestly talk about? Because I've had it where I'm really close friends with some people, but I'm never able to just be like, hey man, I kind of just want to get some things off my chest that have been bothering me for a while, and I want to be vulnerable here. What do you think that's so hard for us? Because it's difficult for me, and I have thought about it frequently, and I think I do it sometimes now a little bit easier, with my close group of friends. But at the same time, it's still like, man, I have to go ask somebody, or have them to be like, can you just be a listening ear, man? I'm kind of going through something.
Yeah.
What do you think that's so hard?
We fear rejection. At the end of the day, we fear rejection. Like that is a big hindrance on our generation, our entire generation. We just, because of the way social media has impacted us, because of the way that we all kind of have some base level of insecurity because of that, and because of how like the way we are raised doesn't reflect the world that we're living in and stuff like that. We all fear rejection. So then you don't want to go to your friends in a moment of vulnerability, because especially if they haven't come to you in a moment of vulnerability yet, because your interpretation of each other is your footprint that you show to, or not your face that you show to the world. Mm-hmm. Right. So like any of my friends who just purely like, if we don't have deep conversations like that or anything like that, if you were to look through my social media, it's just, you know, I post my like small accomplishments. I post, you know, my like bodybuilding, progress and stuff like that. And you probably think, oh yeah, he's doing pretty good at life. You know? You wouldn't want to you wouldn't know if I'm a comfortable person to say something vulnerable to.
Yeah.
Which kind of sucks, because like, how do I make that more open on social media, right? Like, do I pin please, you know, a suicide prevention number to my page or something? Yeah. Like what do I do to make it so that my friends are more open to talking to me? But really, it's difficult because we fear rejection, but the way to combat that is to just be open and honest about yourself. At the end of the day, like, I'm somebody, like any situation, circumstance where I'm having a conversation with somebody, I will give a little piece of myself. I am not afraid to give up certain information about myself. Yeah, I have a rocky relationship with some of my family. I've had rocky relationships, romantic relationships, right? Like I'll be able to be open and honest about this. I mentioned earlier, I was in $23,000 of credit card debt at one point in my life, right? Like these are all vulnerabilities that like I'll say freely and openly because it helps people get talking. Yeah. Right? And it helps people feel comfortable. They're like, whoa, okay, he's not all sunshine and rainbows. Yeah. He's done some stuff. Whoa, he's messed up. You know?
Feel connected. It's like, man, if I tell this person this, I might not get rejected for the things that are going on in my head. Exactly. Or the things that are going on in my life. And yeah, I do sometimes. My friend, John, he, in 2 hours of conversation, I've learned more about him and his vulnerabilities more than I have in 5 years. Mm-hmm. Tell me about his dad and feeling content and him coming from the Philippines. And I just sat here and I said it in the episode. I was like, dude, I've learned more about you right now than 5 years. Because all we've done is just, we worked together. We were reserves together. He left, I left, came back magically. Once in a lifetime opportunity in our line of work. Yeah. Right, to be able to come back. And, you know, we work so well together because we have history. Right? We started together as lances, got promoted to corporals on the same formation. And then he got promoted. And then because I went AR, I lost someone. You lose time. Yeah. So I've been waiting to get promoted, which hopefully next month. But yeah. And then I was like, dude, I've never known this about you. And all I thought about him was like, this guy has no problems. He sleeps 2 hours. He's always working out. He's disciplined. He is good financially. You know, he just takes care of everything. And he's a really great worker too. And a very fast learner. You can teach him anything and he'll learn just by watching you. And I'm just sitting there and I'm like, dude, does this guy have any like vulnerabilities? Does he suck at something? We went to karaoke for the first time. He's a great singer, and I'm just there like, come on. I'm like, damn, man. We played chess. He beat me in like 3 moves, and he's like, I didn't really play chess. Oh. I'm just like, but then I realized how he learned, and I'm like, oh, okay. He starts telling me about his life story, and I'm like, oh, so you kind of just have this, you're a fast pickup learner. But then he started to open up about more personal things, and I was like, oh, you're not all that perfect. You also have some vulnerabilities.
We all do.
It just seems like you don't, but you do. And yeah, I think it's hard to talk to your friends because one, they're your friends. You see them as this grandiose things. At least my friends. I'd be like, 100%. I feel like my friends are so amazing. Blah, blah. I always tell people.
I make jokes at their expense, but I love them to death. I always brag about my friends, man.
And then I think it's that man pride, right? We're all instilled with it. It's like, damn, I'm about to open up to another man. Mm-hmm. About the things going on, right? How pitiful and weak of me to be like, hey, sometimes at night I think about all this stuff that's going and I feel this way. And I'm no longer friends with this person. I did that. Also passing experiences with people that you try to open up to that you thought you could have. And then that rejection came. Yeah. And that feeling of rejection, you're like, what if I get rejected again? Mm-hmm. And it goes the same thing for dating, right? If you're a guy who is sometimes very much inward with your feelings and compress them, and then you open up to your partner and then they use that against you later in the future, They're like, man, why would I open up again if they're just gonna throw it in my face? Like they accepted my feelings, but now they're weaponizing them against me. Why would I do that? And it's in itself, it's a form of rejection.
So. Oh yeah, 100%. No, you have to. It sucks because like it's not easy for people to open up just in general. But once you start doing it, and once you make it clear to your friends, like, hey, I'm not perfect. Mm-hmm. I have gone through my fair share of ups and downs, pros and cons, wins and losses. You know, you will have more fulfilling friendships that way too.
Yeah, a lot closer.
Like my close friends, I have, cried in front of most of my close friends at this point in my life, because I figured that out, like opening up and being vulnerable first to them years ago. And I did open up to the wrong people, a couple of times, people I dated or friends that weren't really friends or anything like that. And, you weed them out. You take your losses on the chin and you weed them out. Not everybody's a good person. Mm-hmm. But, the people that have stuck around, I could call any of them right now and ask for help. Yeah. Ask for any kind of help. I could ask for help changing a tire. I could ask help for mental health crisis or anything, man. And they'd be there for me, and they could do the same for me. And I would do that for them,
Yeah, I have the luxury of that too. And it is a luxury.
It is a luxury.
I've mentioned this a couple of times to people. I'm like, dude, you being my friend is a luxury. Because there's people out there that are alone, that they don't have that. Not even family either. Right? Thankfully for me, my relationship has gotten better with my parents, and it's because I've made it so to be more present. Because when I left impulsively because I was running away from home. I was running away from everything, and I was just like, man, this decision could just like be the thing.
Oh man.
But yeah, I tell my friends, I'm like, this is a luxury for me to have you at the capabilities you offer, even if it's just going out and having, some conversations about randomness. This right here is that third space, one of the stations of third spaces. Because you can have multiple.
No, yeah.
There's not just one third space. And it's
I was at a karaoke bar last night. That was a third space for me yesterday.
I hate karaoke, man.
I didn't sing at all, dude. I was just whoa.
My friends,
that person can sing. Oh, that person can't.
My friends make me sing. They feed me a couple of sojus, and they're like, "All right, I can't sing, but I can rap."
No, I don't drink past a buzz anymore. So you can't convince me of anything. Peer pressure doesn't work on me anymore.
But
I'm like 3 beers and that's it.
Yeah, no, having wonderful friends is a luxury.
Yeah,
and also it makes it so much more difficult to meet other people because you get in different stages of life, and then you meet more people. And the part about being somebody who constantly is striving for things is that if your friends are not doing the same, you can leave them behind, and they can start feeling envious of you. It's like, look at him and all the stuff he's doing, right? And then you might now have to find a new group of friends at this level, because now you're like, damn, I have to refine my group, and finding genuine people is going to be hard. Yeah. Especially once you've had a taste of what a genuine friend is like. Yeah. You're like, which is also good because you can know what to look for, but it does get difficult because there's not that many genuine people out there.
For sure. And you just have to, like you were saying, you have to meet people sometimes you just elevate your life to a certain point and you need to find new friends at that point, right? Mm-hmm. And it's, it's always going to be hard. Every time that happens, it's going to be hard. And it does happen. But, I don't know about you, but I've brought some friends along no matter what stage of their life they're in. They might be doing way better than me. They might be doing way worse than me. I still keep them as close friends. But, I think especially as you change as a person, not necessarily like your career wise or like anything like that, but like you as your personality changes. You have to meet people who match your morals and your principles better, right? Like, I think joining the military, right? I smoked weed before I joined. I used to drink all the time. I had friends, we would do dumb shit all the time. Joined the military, realized, okay, those friends aren't really friends anymore.
Yeah.
Not one part because, military says that's a no-no. You can't do none of that. But another part because, I grew up, right? I put on my big boy pants, realized, okay, none of that was getting me anywhere but closer to debt or jail or in debt. So I grew out of that. And then, some people had to get left behind because they wouldn't. What am I supposed to do with that person? I can't hang out with them.
Yeah. Not only that, but when you're moving up in morals and principles and also life stuff, you no longer can have conversations about the problems you're having because your life is different than theirs.
They won't understand.
It's like, oh, hey, I'm trying to achieve. Let's say you work out, I work out. If you and I were to have a conversation about the struggles in the gym, I can emphasize or empathize with you.
Right.
But if your friend doesn't work out, they're just like, oh man, just take a day off. Okay, what?
Dude, you cannot talk to somebody who doesn't work out about working out. Yeah. They think you're the worst.
Something simple like that, right? Yeah. Imagine the bigger stuff. Family.
Oh, yeah.
And your friend doesn't have kids. Mm-hmm. Like when my friends, I've watched a lot of them, they have kids, 2 or 3, and some have way more, and some have none, or some have 1. And they speak about that. I don't know. Why? Because I don't have children. I don't even have a partner.
I don't even want kids. I don't want any of them.
And I can't. So I just sit there. I listen. That's probably as best as I can do. Just be like, man, that sounds rough.
Damn, that's crazy.
Yeah, right. But it gets lonely. It goes back to that lonely part.
Yeah,
it's the more you change who you are, it just costs you your old life, and that old life includes your old friends that you hold so dearly. Now, some of them you can't bring along because some of them will just continue to be like, good job, bro. And they'll still be that guy that you just love spending time with and goofing around with and having all these but there's some that you just can't bring them along for the ride.
No.
And that's the part about being somebody who aspires to chase their dreams and all this other stuff is some of those dreams are requirement of you leaving everything else behind. Mm-hmm. Like I'm sure, like for me, and I know you probably struggle with this too, is one of the things I'm terrified about leaving the military the most is, what if I don't find people like the ones I found in the military? Because these are some of the best people I've ever met in my life. I met some of them for a couple months and they still reach out and they still do all this other stuff compared to people that I've met for years, that I knew for years, that we did so much stuff together. Like, I don't know where they're at. I don't know what they're doing. My friends will reach out, call me. What's up, man? I saw you posted a reel, blah, blah, blah. What are you up to? What are you doing? How's everything, right? They just contact. And it's like, those are the kind of friends that you can bring anywhere for the ride because they're going to be there. Yeah. And one of the things I'm terrified is I'm going to move along in my next chapter. And a lot of my friends are staying in. And I'm just getting out. I mean, I just posted a post on my Instagram and I called it the greatest salesperson. And it's talking about recruiters because they sell you this dream, man. They sell you this brotherhood. They sell you everything. And I'm just rambling. And I was rambling about it on this essay. And that basically is you do find those people. You find that brotherhood. And it is super amazing to have. And then you lose it. Yeah. And then if you stay in every 2 or 3 years,
you lose it and gain it and lose it.
You lose it and gain it again. And then you pick up rank and then you pick up responsibilities.
And the pool of people gets smaller and smaller and smaller.
And it just gets smaller and smaller. And they never talk about you're going to have to replace that brotherhood every so many years.
Sometimes it's every few months.
Yep. And there's also the other part. You might lose some of them to silence, to those silent battles, or you might lose them to the ugliness of war.
Yeah, our job. Yeah.
And a lot of us go in young. I mean, I went in when I was 18.
Same.
And you barely know your left from your right at that age. How do you expect to deal with some of that stuff?
I signed my first contract February 28th, 2019. I was 17 years old. I had to get a waiver. I did not know what I was doing at all. I Did I read the contract? No. I didn't even read it when I re-enlisted. I looked at the term and it said 2 years. And I was like, okay, good. This is the lowest amount, right? Yeah. All right, cool. But I actually changed my signature. My signature on my re-enlistment package is different from my normal signature in case I really hated it. And I was going to try to be like, I didn't sign that. You know? But, you know, yeah, no, that brother, you lose it and gain it and lose it and gain it. I was very lucky that, you know, I had some friends coming out of high school that I managed to maintain during my time in the military. So when I came home after the Marine Corps, I had at least a couple of people here that I could hang out with and do stuff with. But, you know, I'm a year out of the Marine Corps now. Or, yeah, today's December, 12th, 13th? Something like that?
Yeah. 13th.
Yeah, I officially left the Marine Corps a year and like 4 days ago.
Damn.
Yep. And, you know, going through that, it is hard to find a brotherhood when you're out here. Like, even... Like, you're going to gravitate towards veterans for sure in whatever field that you go into.
Yeah.
Just because, like, they can relate to your experiences, right? Like, there's this dude at work that's he's 39 years old. He did 20 years in the Army, Ranger, First Sergeant, Scout Sniper, everything I wish I did in the military, he did in the military. Normally in the military, me and him would never have been friends, bro. Me friends with a first sergeant?
Yeah.
Absolutely not. But now that we're both civilians and we both ended up at the same place, at the same position. Hey, man, how you doing? Pretty good, bro. How was your weekend? That was all right. You know? So you're going to gravitate towards veterans a lot in the beginning, but you have to be careful with that because not all veterans are the veterans that we want to believe they are.
Yeah.
You know, it sucks to say that, but there's a reason why a lot of guys get out young, and not all of us are chasing dreams. A lot of us are running from stuff that we did in the military. There's a lot of not so good people who separated. There's a lot of complainers, and there's a lot of people abusing the VA, and you know, there's a lot of stuff like that. And you'll meet them everywhere you go because they play the veteran card everywhere they go, and it'll get on your nerves because you're like, don't loop me in with you, man. Like, I did my time honorably. I did my stuff. I did everything I had to do and everything. You're not like me, and you're putting yourself out there way more than I ever would.
Mm-hmm.
Right? We'd be humble about it. I know you. Like, you'd be humble about it. You're not gonna go to every dollar store trying to get a veteran discount. Like
yeah, I always try as much as I can. I don't even try to make it very known.
Yeah, exactly.
That one, because I chose this. Mm-hmm. Right? I always say it's like, yes, there's benefits, but I chose. So if I chose this, why should I reap all this other stuff? That's just my point of view. There's some people that are like, I chose this, so therefore I will reap these benefits.
Oh yeah, no, I'm not saying don't use your benefits for sure. Use them, but
it's not like where I over abuse them or something. It's just like, hey, they're just available. Yeah, and I'm gonna just humbly take what I got from what I'm doing. But there's some that just
like there's a difference between like what I did, right? I went to the VA. I applied for disability by myself, filled out the application by myself, submitted all my documents by myself. Mm-hmm. They made me some appointments. I had to go get checked out here. I had to get some x-rays there, went through the process by myself. And then they gave me my percentage. And guess what I didn't do? I didn't bitch about it, right? A whole subsection of our community is out here trying to scam the VA, trying to get 100% for like a broken toe. Mm-hmm. It's like, come on, man. You're giving us all a bad name. Yeah. You're giving us all a bad name. And you're sucking resources out of stuff that could be helpful towards like, I don't know, ending veteran suicide, right? Doing something productive for us as a community. But so to bring it back, and before I go on a veteran rant, getting out, you're going to have a hard time finding, new friends and a new pack, right? That they might come from work. They might come from a hobby that you pick up. I highly recommend anybody who's doing like a big lifestyle change like that is just find something to do. Just find something to do. Yeah. Like I go out with people who I, meet from friends of friends. I go to networking events that I have no business being in. I offer no I offer so little material gain to any of these people, but every once in a while I get a an Instagram or a phone number or something, a work email, a business card. But I'll go to my local dive bar just to sit there and have a beer, and sometimes I'll chat to the dude to my left or my right.
Yeah.
Stuff like that, man. But those friends that you can carry with you everywhere that you go, keep them around. Keep them in the loop of what you're going through as well, so that they can understand what the challenges that you're facing, and don't. It's gonna be hard, I say think about it like how you thought about going to boot camp. It's gonna suck. It's gonna suck, but it'll be over eventually.
Yeah, it will be.
You just gotta push through it, and you'll find your people. When I got out, that same commander who bitched me out in front of the entire command staff, he gave me one piece of advice. He told me to find my tribe. I'm still looking.
Yeah,
I've been a year out. I'm still looking. My personality, I am a very principled person. I ruffle feathers everywhere I go. I don't care. I will stand up for my people more than anything. Mm-hmm. And I will stand up for what is right, for what is ethically and morally right. Mm-hmm. That's gonna ruffle feathers everywhere you go. If you're a principled person like that, and you can't stand to have somebody lie, or can't stand to have somebody say something that's just disrespectful or rude or mean or racist or homophobic or anything like that, I'm that kind of person. I don't like hearing that stuff. I'll call people out on that. And yeah, I ruffle feathers, but that's who I am. And you know what? I ruffle some feathers, and then I gain other people's respect at the same time by doing it. And when you do that, you gravitate people towards you, and you build your own community around you, around your what you value and everything.
Yeah, one of the things is being your authentic self will attract the people that you actually probably want to be around, because they're not coming to, oh, this is who Omar might be. They're actually coming to, oh, this is who Omar is.
Exactly.
Like me, I'm the same way. I stand for who I am, and the way I am is not liked by many people, because I don't sugarcoat to myself. The reason why I'm at where I'm at is because of the actions I've done. Mm-hmm. And I'm not willing to hear that it's not your fault. It is my fault. If I'm not where I want to be, it's my fault. If I'm not getting the results that I want, it's because I'm not doing the things I need to get those results. Right. And a lot of people don't like to hear that. They don't like to hear that, oh, you're not losing weight because you're actually just not eating well, and your sleep is shit, and you drink all the time, and your lifestyle is unhealthy. They're going to be defendant, and they're going to think you're attacking them. But in reality is you're just telling them the truth. You're like, hey man, you're actually just not doing what you're supposed to be doing. And you're expecting results
where there's no work.
Yeah. When you're not doing anything for those results. So that's the kind of person I am.
Yeah.
And for the most part, or really everybody I hang out with and is very close to me, they're all like that. None of them go, oh, it's their fault. They do this. They pull an inward. Mm-hmm. They're like, I'm not where I want to be because I'm not doing what I need to be doing. Mm-hmm. And I love people like that because I'm like that.
I'm like that too.
And not only that, but if they are aware enough to hold themselves accountable, that means they're going to hold you accountable when you're not doing what you need to be doing. And that's a good thing to have, because you're going to be like, I'm not doing what I need to be doing. They're going to call you out on it. And then you're going to remind yourself like, oh, this is what I need to be doing. Mm-hmm. And that's good to have.
Oh yeah, 100%, man. Good friends are a blessing. They truly are, especially ones that match your personality and how you learn more than anything, and how you hold yourself accountable and everything, man. Mm-hmm. I'm the exact same way. I'm a realist. I'm a pragmatic realist, man. Like, I blame myself. If something doesn't go the way I want it to go, I blame myself. I'm like, hey, yep. I wanted abs by the end of this summer. That was my goal that I set for myself as soon as I got out of the Marine Corps. I was like, all right, by the end of summer 2025, I'm going to have, my body fat is going to be low enough that I'm going to have abs. Did I hit that? Absolutely no, I didn't. I did not hit that. But, I didn't beat myself up as much as I probably should have, but I did lose 30 pounds.
Nice.
I did lose 30 pounds.
That's a lot of fucking weight.
Exactly, right? I'm like, hey, you know what? I did good enough, But there were people who were keeping track of that, who were asking me what, hey, how you been? How you doing on that?
Yeah, especially being on a and calorie deficit, man, you get so angry and I've been going through it. I've lost 20 and I got
hell yeah, man.
A lot more to go. And I post on my story like, man, how do bodybuilders do this? I have my scale over there.
Oh my gosh.
Dude, it's so rough. But no, dude, 30 pounds is crazy.
It was, it was really just more than anything. It was, I had to find a way to compartmentalize my goals because I was trying to do like the daily thing where I'm like counting my protein every day, my calories every day, my this, that, and the other, how many I'm burning, step counts and all that. I got rid of that and I started doing like going by weeks. So then I would do, I told myself I'm going to hit my goal 5 days a week. 5 days a week, I'm going to hit my goal. Yeah. I might go under on this on 1 or 2 days. I might go over on 1 or 2 days, whatever. But at least 5 days a week, I'm going to hit my goal. So I kind of like zoomed out a little bit and I was like, all right, as long as I'm hitting my goal 5 days a week, we're good. We're good.
It's like, you probably, let's say, I'm about to embarrass myself with public math here, but you have, let's say your max is 2,000 calories a day, right? 2,000 calories a day, you're like, damn, man, that's like nothing, right? Especially if you're exercising, because then you count the calories you're going to burn and trying to stay under 500 or whatever, right?
Right.
But if you zoom out in an entire week and you do 2,000, 7 days out of the week is like what, 14,000 calories? You're like, I have 14,000 calories.
Yeah, exactly that.
In a week. And you're like, all right.
Yeah, I can get that pizza.
I can get that, right? And it goes with everything.
Yeah.
I think, and this one is going to come with delaying gratification is for certain goals and aspirations and dreams and whatever, you want it so fast that it becomes unhealthy because you're not willing to delay gratification. I was going to get one of these that has the thing for $1 million. And it's like, it says 365 days, $1 million, and it has the breakdown until like the day. I think like a day is like 200 and something. I can't remember. But if you do that much a day and then it compounds to a month or a week and then a month and then it goes to all the year, it's like, that's the breakdown of $1 million. And it's like, oh, I want $1 million. If I just make it smaller, right?
Yeah.
To each day, now it seems more achievable. Or if you expand the horizon, and it's like $1 million in a year, okay, well, can I do $1 million in 2 years? Now the day-to-day becomes smaller and the horizon becomes bigger. So now you're like, I can totally achieve that. Right? And it's with everything. You want to be able to either shrink the day-to-day basis or expand the horizon of required to achieve said goal.
Yeah. To your point, man, like you life isn't linear, right? Your life is not linear, man. There's so many people who get so stuck on like thinking like, oh, I got to make this much. I got to do this much. I got to hit this target. We're on this rock for a while. Okay. Like life is fleeting. Time goes by fast, but we are on this rock for a while. Men especially need to stop sacrificing their mental health for short-term success in certain areas. I'm not saying don't stress. I'm not saying don't strive. I'm not saying don't struggle. I'm saying don't put yourself in a position where you're ruining your mental health because you're chasing something. I feel like I have taken a step back and I have slowed down my life, right? I was a full speed ahead kind of guy. I wanted to hit all these goals and these targets. I had plans made. All went to shit. All of it went to shit. And then, I had to redo everything. And I was like, you know what? So I don't mess it all up, slow it down. I have slowed it down. It has made my life so much better because I am happier, I'm healthier, and I'm making steady progress on my goals. Am I making progress as fast as I would like to or as fast as I can possibly? No. Right? I'd be at 315 on bench right now. I'd be at 315 on bench right now if I really gave it my full effort. But, I'm okay with 290 and I sleep at night.
Sleep well at night?
Yeah. 290 and I sleep well at night, that's a good trade-off.
290 is insane. I'm at like 245. I'm like way everything.
Comparison thief of joy, man. Yeah. Comparison's a thief of joy. I don't have to run a PFT. I don't have to run a PFT or a CFT, big dog. You do. I'll never do another sprint drag carry again in my life.
I have one more, and then I'm done. That chapter will be. That chapter.
I never have to run another 880 a day in my life.
It's not fun, man. Especially having knee surgery.
Oh, boots in combat. Yeah, nah, we ain't never doing that. A hike, good. Nope, never gotta do that again. So don't comparison to thief of joy, dude. I wasn't benching that much when I was a Marine. Come on. But yeah, no, like a lot of young men, man. Like I see so many dudes, like they just get so worked up over not being where they want to be, and it's just, you know. We're losing guys to this. We're losing people to this. Yeah. We're losing people to because it starts with that. It starts with I'm not where I want to be. I'm stressing. Okay, that's not necessarily bad stress. What ends up being bad stress is when you start losing hope, right? You start seeing that horizon go further and further away, and you're like, well, I can't catch up now. I can't catch up now. Mm-hmm. You're losing hope. You're not communicating with other people. You're not telling people what is going on in your life. And then eventually you just shut down, and you either give up, or we lose you.
Yeah,
right.
And it's hard to come back from that.
And it is incredibly difficult to come back from that.
It is. I mean, I've always been this ambitious, self-improvement kind of guy. Ever since my friend John made me realize the other day that I've been this way since I was like 9 years old, when I would sit in silence and practice words because I was trying to not sound weird or have an accent or whatever. And then I would just repeat them over and over and look in the mirror and watch videos on how people pronounce words. And he's like, you've actually been like this quite a while. He's like, you just realized it later on in life. And I realized that I'm 24 right now, and I was in such a rush at 21. And I think to myself, I'm like, I am living right now, currently, a lot of the stuff that I wanted when I was 21 years old. And I'm not even enjoying them that much because I'm trying to get to the next level. I'm not here, but I'm living all the things that I said I wanted. And it's just very minimal stuff. And we do get like trapped in it. And when I tell people that are like 2 or 3 years younger than me, they're like, dude, you're not that much older than me. I'm like, I promise you, 1 or 2 years makes one hell of a difference of things you live through. Like, especially if you're somebody who pushes yourself to constantly be in different scenarios in different areas, you're going to have so many more things than someone who is reserved and stays in doing nothing. Because if you're just stay at home, video games, and, you know, you go out here and there or go out quite often, you're not really doing that much. But if you put yourself out there, your experience from somebody that is your age to someone who's younger, like, big gap. Even like same age differences. Like, I've lived so much more things than people that are my age because, one, the military gives you that. You experience so many things that normal people do not experience. I mean, at 20 years old, you're an NCO, right, for us, and you get people in charge of you, or you're in charge of people, and they're 18 years old, and now you have to like help them out as best you can.
You got to show them how to buy a car.
Yeah,
and you're like, well, I just figured this out like a year ago. Like, right? What do you mean?
And it's like, now you have to do that. Like, I've never bought a car at a dealership. So it's like, someone's going to show me how to do that. Because I've talked. I'm like, hey, when I go buy a car, I'm bringing you. Mm-hmm. Or at least you. Because I don't know how to do it. But you do. And you also have to realize, or you have to be humble enough and aware enough to bring yourself back together and be like, I don't know how to do this. They do, because they've been alive a lot longer and they've experienced a lot more things. Mm-hmm. And when I was 21 years old, I thought I knew it all. And I was not able to come back and think to myself, I actually don't know. And now my curious personality and my willingness to learn and connect with people and all this, I realize that the more I learn about others and the learn more skills and more things, I realize that I know nothing at all, because I'm like, I just learned that thing and I got to expand on that thing to understand it better. And then you understand that, and then it just keeps building on and on and on and on. And that's the same thing with growing up, is you just get stuck in that I know best when you kind of don't. And it's hard. To close it out, is if a guy was listening right now, or really any young person, and they're struggling, what would you want them to hear?
There's no shame in admitting that, right? There's no shame in admitting that you're struggling or you're going through something. I have personally taken people to go see a therapist. I have personally taken people to behavioral health. I have personally taken people to go see a psychologist. I have given out business cards for crisis resource centers and things like that. You know, your struggles at whatever point in life that you're at are going to seem like the biggest thing in the world. And then a year from then, it's going to be like, why was I even stressed? Sometimes. But life continues on, and you have to find your pace, and you have to find your people, right? You have to find your pace and your people. Sometimes you're just trying to move too fast through life, and that's what's stressing you out. If you slow things down, you take one goal at a time, you take one struggle, break it down into achievable, small, short-term goals, you'll get through it. Sometimes you just need a change of environment. You got to cut off those friends that are negative to you, man. You got to cut off those people that aren't giving you that positive reinforcement, that aren't in your corner, that aren't liking your posts like that, who aren't supporting your ideas, right? And ultimately, you just have to learn how to navigate who you are and how to find who you are, right? There are so many ideas out there on the internet as to what men should be, as to what women should be. We're in a very highly political climate. Cut out all that noise, man. Cut out all that noise. There is no blueprint or book on how to be a man or how to be a woman. If you want to be strong, go be strong. If you want to be smart, go be smart. If you want to be rich, go be rich. You have to put in work to achieve these things, but you can do it, right? There's nobody, you don't have to be a stay-at-home wife. You don't have to be a blue-collar sole provider for a family as a man. You can do whatever you want. You can work at your own pace. You can get through life the way you want to get through. You can enjoy the journey while also being productive and hitting your goals and achieving the things you want to achieve. You don't have to sacrifice your mental health. You don't have to go sleepless nights like that. And if you are experiencing that, talk to people. I promise you, if you just add a little bit of vulnerability to your conversations with friends, if you're open and honest to people who you love and people who love you, you're gonna find a whole new level of friendship with people, a whole new level of relationship with your family members that you might not have, and that is gonna make your life so much better, and it's gonna make it so much more livable. And these goals and these dreams and all that stuff, just that little bit more attainable and achievable. So just keep working on these things and be open and honest up to yourself and to others, especially. That's what I would say to people for sure.
I agree. Man, I'm taking that some for myself, man. I definitely do not enjoy some of the moments. And then I think to myself, I'm like, I used to say those were the golden days. But what if I'm living golden days right now?
Yeah.
And then this year I realized with all the things I do with my friends, I'm like, these are the golden days I'm going to talk about when they're gone. And 2 of them are leaving next month. And I'm going to call them and I'm going to be like, oh, remember the golden days?
Yeah.
Right. And the golden days were like last year. So I'm definitely going to take that some for myself. And I appreciate you coming out. I know you probably drove a while.
Oh, dude, don't even worry about that. I was jamming the whole way here. I have a radio in my car. So you should try it.
Maybe when it's not so cold, I can fix my car. But no, I really appreciate you coming out. And you and I have been wanting to hang out. And we didn't even make it happen. And then I'm like, hey, man, are you want to do this? And you're like, yeah. And I was like, all right, cool.
Yeah. No, dude, I love stuff like this, dude. I love like, this is a third space for me too. I love just being part of other people's projects. Like, yeah, include me. Why not? I like doing this stuff.
Okay. I'm glad you enjoyed it.
Yeah. No, I love doing stuff like this, man.
Yeah.
Thank you for inviting me out here, man.
Yeah. I appreciate it, man. Thank you so much.